Long ago, when the armies of Israel and the Philistines stood on opposite hills, a fearsome giant named Goliath emerged from the enemy's ranks. Towering over all, his voice echoed through the valley as he mocked the people of Israel and their God, challenging anyone brave enough to face him. In the region of hills and rivers, there were two villages, Juma and Jombo. Juma was a peaceful place where people worked hard and trusted in God to protect them. Jombo, however, was a different kind of village. The people there didn't believe in God. Instead, they trusted in their own strength, especially in Mundu, the tallest and strongest man in all the land. For many seasons, Juma and Jombo coexisted without trouble. But one year, things changed. Jombo's leaders decided they wanted control over Juma's fertile lands and the river that provided water for both villages. Led by Mandu, they began to camp on the hills overlooking Juma, demanding that Juma surrender. Each morning, Mundu would stand at the top of the hill, his voice booming across the fields. "People of Juma, you are weak. Surrender to us, and we will take care of you. Or send someone to face me if you dare." He laughed, certain that no one in Juma would be foolish enough to challenge him. One day, as Juma guided his goats through the fields, he heard Mundu's taunts echoing from the hilltop. He stopped, leaning on his staff, and muttered to himself, "How long will we let him mock us? Are we so afraid of one man? Isn't our faith supposed to make us stronger than this?" He glanced toward the hill where Mundu's voice rang out, strong and mocking. Maybe I can do something," he whispered. But doubt quickly crept in. "No," he said aloud, shaking his head. "I'm just a shepherd. What can I possibly do?" Still, the idea lingered in his mind as he returned home that evening. Day after day, Mundu's taunts filled the air. The people of Juma grew more fearful, and Juma grew more restless. One morning, while bringing food to his brothers, who were part of Juma's defenders, Juma heard Mundu's latest challenge. He looked around at the defenders' tense faces, their eyes cast downward, and something inside him stirred. "This isn't right," he muttered to himself. "If we truly believe God is with us, why are we acting like He isn't?" He took a deep breath, stepped forward, and said loudly, "Why does everyone let Mundu mock us like this? We trust in God, why are we so afraid?" His eldest brother pulled him aside, whispering urgently, "Juma, stop. Mundu is no ordinary man. He's a giant, and his strength is unmatched. Don't even think of going near him." But Juma's heart was steady. "If no one else will face him, then I will," he said simply. Word of Juma's resolve spread quickly through the village, reaching even the elders. When they heard of it, they brought him to the chief of Juma, a wise but weary man. The chief looked at Juma with a mixture of worry and disbelief. "Juma, you are brave, but Mundu is fierce," he said. "You don't have the strength or weapons to face him." Juma smiled and replied, "I do not need heavy weapons or strength like his, chief. I have my catapult, and I trust in God. If He has helped me protect my flock, I believe He will help me now." The chief sighed deeply, rubbing his forehead. "Juma, you are young. Perhaps too young to understand the risk you are taking. What if you fail? What if this leads to greater harm for our people?" Juma knelt before the chief and spoke softly but firmly. "Chief, I understand the risk. But I also understand that faith without action is not faith at all. If I fail, at least I will have tried. But I believe I won't fail." The chief studied Juma's face, seeing the determination in his eyes. Finally, he placed his hand on Juma's shoulder and said, go then with our prayers. But know this, Juma, I fear for you, and for us." The next morning, Juma climbed the hill, his heart pounding but filled with faith. He carried only his catapult and a few smooth stones he had chosen from the river. As he neared the hilltop, he whispered to himself, "God, I don't know what will happen, but I trust you. Give me the strength to do what I must." Mundu saw Juma and let out a loud laugh. "This is who you send to face me? A boy with no armor, no spear? Do you think you can defeat me with sticks and stones?" Juma paused, steadying his breath, and replied, "You may trust in your strength, Mundu, but I trust in God. Today, everyone will see that God is stronger than any man." Mundu roared with anger and charged toward Juma, his spear raised high. But Juma was quick. With one swift motion, he placed a stone in his catapult, pulled it back, and released it with all his strength. The stone flew through the air, striking Mundu directly on his forehead. Mundu's steps faltered, his towering form swaying, until he collapsed to the ground, defeated. A great cheer rose from the people of Njiwa as they rushed forward, lifting Juma high on their shoulders. They praised God for giving them victory through the bravery of a young shepherd who had trusted completely in him. As the news of Mundu's defeat spread, the people of Njombo retreated, no longer threatening Njiwa. Juma's courage became a legend in the village, reminding everyone that true strength comes not from size or power, but from faith and a heart willing to stand for what is right. And so, the tale of Juma, the young shepherd who faced Mundu, became a story passed down in Njiwa. A reminder that even the greatest obstacles can be overcome with faith and courage. Please subscribe.